Get ready to rumble! Yeah. That's right. Because it's official. We are on the road to WrestleMania, among many other things. We're going to Saudi, but of course, you don't want to go there alone. You got to be, you don't want to go there at all because...
lot of reasons,
let WWE
probably
handle that. But we'll do the talking. Even if you don't want to watch it, we'll cover it for you because, of course, we are the Shoot Brothers Wrestling Podcast, the one and only, hosted by myself, Mike the Shoot Shepherd, Cameron Crown Jewel Osborne.
Ding, bang, bang.
And yeah, we are here. We just had the Royal Rumble this past weekend. 2 Rumbles. Some better than others. We'll get into that and more. We got lots to talk about. I mean, AEW is popping off as always. NXT's doing well. They got the Vengeance Day coming up. And everything in between. We got titles to give out. I'm sure there's some news things that'll pop up here and there. Some things happened. Yeah, the wrestling world never stops. And neither do we. So let's just get right into things, shall we?
Let's get into right things, shall we? I guess we had the big... our big premium live event.
The Royal Rumble.
This week, course. I didn't hear it called the premium live event, especially as much as it was on day one. The Royal Rumble.
Review.
Let's just get to it. We can kind of skip over very, very few things from Friday night's show. Of SmackDown, of course, implicated the next day. So we'll kind of maybe cover that as we go, maybe?
Yeah. Well, I can just mention one or two things
as the action plays out. Yeah, how about you do a quick little surmise?
Well, basically, I guess the big news was Sasha Banks returns. She had that brief little injury thing, but, I would have just saved it for the next day because she's like, yeah, I'm going to be in the Rumble. It's like, why not just use the surprise? I don't know.
Bit bizarre, especially considering that, returns and all that sort of nonsense.
Maybe that's the last minute thing someone needed. Like, okay, now I'm watching the Rumble. Sasha's in.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg's at home. It's like, now I'm going to watch.
Yeah, I'm curious how many things, especially like that, move the needle for a wrestling fan or whatever the case is.
And then the other thing, we finally got the long-awaited match. Naomi took on Sonya Deville, and there was no shenanigans. I mean, Sonya tried to cheat and stuff, but we got a clean finish. Naomi got the win. The hero conquers. After 153 days of putting up with her bullshit, she finally got the big win. And afterwards, they're both like, yeah, well, I'm entering the Rumble. So that'll play out there as well, but...
And a long time, this was also Sonya Deville's first match since she had that hair. Wasn't it like a hair versus hair match with Mandy Rose?
It was supposed to be. We never got
supposed to be, never happened. But yeah, SummerSlam, or rather, August 2020 was the last time that Sonya Deville has actually laced up the boots on television.
Yeah, she looked good, and we'll see some more from her in just a short time. So let's just jump right over to the, this is the Royal Rumble. It's much more royal, prestigious than the King of the Ring, with all due respect, and the Queen's Crown. Won't forget that.
How do those two play into this?
Not really at all.
Oh, okay.
But, one of the kings wasn't even, or the king wasn't even there.
King wasn't there.
He's injured.
King Woods, ankle injury still. Yeah,
still waiting for him to come back. But we are live from St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Over 44,000 packed into this arena. So nice big crowd here. We're starting with a big match. We got Roman Reigns taking on Seth freaking Rollins for the Universal title. And a rare thing, the champ comes out first. Roman, he makes his entrance. And then all of a sudden, the Shield music hits. The classic, and Rollins, he makes the classic Shield entrance, coming through the crowd. He's even got the old tactical gear on. I think literally the only thing missing was the little blonde strip of hair he used to have.
I mean, he could have gone back to that blonde strip if he really wanted to pull it around.
But maybe he's like...
as soon as we heard, the Sierra Hotel, that was big pop. Fans went wild. Love to hear it.
Yeah, great entrance, pretty much. I mean, he's full babyface now, at least for this match.
At least for this match.
Like that. So he comes in hot. He's beating Reigns up. He's got things going well. Picks up Roman and power bombs him right through the announce table. Michael Cole calls it a shield bomb, but I don't think that's right, Michael Cole. It's just one person. It's not a shield bomb.
Yeah, just because a former member of the Shield is delivering a power bomb does not mean it's a shield bomb. Michael Cole.
Yeah. Then he throws him back in the ring, hits a frog splash, a buckle bomb, and then a curb stomp. Makes the cover, but Roman kicks out at 2.9. One of the best in the business at kickouts, Roman Reigns. But yeah, Seth is just on a roll here, and at some point, Roman got smacked real good in the face. His eye was swelling up and a little bruised there. I don't know.
Somewhere.
Took a good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then the Tribal Chief has his comeback, hits a big Superman punch, a spear on the floor. He goes for another spear inside the ring, but Rollins counters it, jumps, catches him midair with the pedigree, just like in their Money in the Bank 2016 title match. But that doesn't get him the win, so a bit later, Reigns does hit the spear, but Seth still won't stay down. He just raises his fist for the old Shield fist bump to Reigns, but that just pisses off Roman, so he grabs him in the guillotine, locks it in. Seth's trying to escape. He almost makes it to the ropes, but then his arm goes limp, so the ref lifts the arm to check, and when he drops it, Seth manages to catch onto the ropes. So Roman's got to break the submission. But he doesn't. The ref counts to 5, and we get a DQ. Ruining a very, very good match, I think.
Yeah, a bit of a bummer of an ending, especially that last bit when, and you could tell the official kind of pulls Seth's hand towards the rope so he could make that grab. Loved that spot, and everything up until the DQ.
Yeah, no, yeah, I love this minute, I love the match up until the finish, and that had me thinking. I texted you after. I'm like, all right, this is setting something up. Seth Rollins is gonna win the Rumble, get the big rematch against Roman Reigns.
And I was on board. After last week's show, you had not made an official prediction, the same way that I had leaned hard into AJ Styles, and I went back to listen to see. And you were total zero. You said, I think I said AJ Styles, and you're like, yeah, AJ Styles could win. And then I think one of us may have said Matt Riddle, and you said Matt Riddle would be a good choice. Like you played it very middle of the road sportscaster kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I was much more confident in the women's Rumble, but. After the match, Roman Reigns is just still pissed off, grabs a chair, beats the shit out of Seth, breaking the chair right over top of him. So that just led me even more. I'm like, okay, he's got to have that revenge now, Seth. But we'll see. Still a long way to get to WrestleMania.
Well, and that's what it is, right? We are going to Saudi, so we can only assume that Roman Reigns will be there in some capacity. And that might mean the rematch. Right? DQ, the chair, keep it going. Would a pinfall have been more satisfying? Yes. But there was a lot to like in this matchup for sure.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun going on. But let's keep the fun going because we're kicking off our first Royal Rumble match, the Women's Royal Rumble. And right off the bat, Sasha Banks comes out at number 1. Wearing this awesome Sailor Moon inspired outfit. And that's why I was thinking like you could have just had this as a surprise entrance, but either way,
wouldn't the pop have been, or wouldn't the excitement have been that much more? Maybe it wouldn't have. I don't know.
That's all right. She's fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight.
That's like the Sailor Moon catchphrase, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, part of the theme song. But anyways, right out, number 2, we get our first surprise entrance with the returning Melina. Do you know of Melina or anything about her?
Only by name, I think.
Yeah. So she came in with John Morrison and Joey Mercury and, part of the Divas era. And they gave her the full entrance. She had the red carpet, the paparazzi, and she pulls off her signature move. She was known for this more than her actual wrestling, where she jumps in the air, lands in the splits on the apron, and then slides into the bottom ropes. So crowd popped for that. And you could see it meant something to her. She got pretty emotional here, almost crying at the start of the match. But, Sasha's not here to fuck around and feel sorry for you. She just makes short work, tosses her over the ropes, and then mocks her by doing the little split pose of her own. So, fun little start there for Sasha. And got a little nostalgia pop. And then we just get a couple quick entries. Tamina, Kelly, Aaliyah, who had a nice little showing. I think she lasted like 22 minutes. Didn't get any eliminations, but good ring time there. Liv Morgan came out, one of the dark horses. She lasted long as well, 37 minutes, the second longest of anyone here. Had a lot of the crowd rooting for her. Queen Zelina comes out, and she makes a huge immediate impact because Tamina was fighting with Sasha, puts her on the apron. Then Zelina comes flying in and boots Sasha to the floor. What a shocker. We're only at number 7.
Yeah, that was
Queen
big.
Zelina.
Sasha, I think in a previous Rumble, she had that Iron Woman kind of spot. She'll be in there for 42 minutes or whatever it is. And I think, as soon as you see her face, you're thinking she could be that person again, but was not the case.
No, this was a real shocker, but perhaps she's still not fully recovered, so they play it safe. Just had her out there for a quick little 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah, the crowd is stunned, but then up next was Bianca Belair right at number 8, so good choice to have her kind of, get the crowd back into it, and looking to be the first woman to win back-to-back Rumbles. A lot of people's favorites in this match here. And you had Dana Brooke come out with Reggie, who would end up doing the spot where Dana falls, he catches her, saves her once. Then Mrs. Undertaker, Michelle McCool comes out, hits her Styles Clash move. I forget what she calls it, but it's the Styles Clash.
It's a Styles Clash.
Sonya Deville comes out, but she does not enter the ring right away. She just goes and sits at the commentary table, calls the match for a bit. So Natalya comes out, and then we get the return of Cameron, former tag partner of Naomi, as the Funkadactyls. So this is when Sonya decides to enter the match to go fuck with Naomi's friend. She attacks her, eliminates her, destroying any hope of a Funkadactyl reunion. And we were so close as Naomi comes out next, right after. She gets her some more sweet revenge. She eliminates Sonya.
Yeah.
So 2 for 2 for Naomi here.
Way to go.
At least against Sonya. But anyways, we're halfway through. We're rolling along here. Carmella comes out. Rhea Ripley comes out. She did pretty well in there. Over half hour. Lots of fans. And then your queen, Charlotte Flair, comes out at 17. And she throws Naomi over the ropes. Naomi catches herself in a handstand on the floor. So she's still in. But then Sonya comes up and just yanks her arms. So her feet touch the floor. Naomi's out. So it looks like the feud's not quite done yet, her and Sonya.
No, well, when you eliminate each other, it's still got to keep going.
Yeah. This is long-term feud, though. This
long-term. Fucking years.
Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels going on here. Out next, we had another fun nostalgia surprise as we had Ivory making her return in her Right to Censor gimmick. Do you know anything about either of these?
Yes.
Ivory or Right?
Yeah.
I
can't, and I couldn't tell if it's a terrible gimmick for 2022 or a really good one. It definitely doesn't fall in the middle. It's either a great gimmick or a terrible gimmick.
Yeah, I like it. I thought she did well here, at least her delivery. I always thought she kind of looked and sounded like Lewis's mom. Rest in peace, Jean.
Oh, really? Like, you thought it looked like Jean?
A little bit, her face. But anyway, she comes out. She's got a microphone. She's cutting a promo, calling all the women in the ring lost little girls. Rhea Ripley just picks her up like a little kid, lifts her over the top ropes, knocks her to the floor, all while she's still cutting a promo. And, Ivory takes a bump landing on the floor. This woman's 60 years old.
Wow.
So give her credit.
Wow, 60, eh? Jesus.
Not bad.
Yeah, not at all.
Then we get Brie Bella coming out next, and she got some big yes chants, of course, for her husband, Bryan Danielson. So she had a little role there, and Up next, we had Impact Women's Champion Mickie James, who came out with the title belt. The graphics said Women's Champion, Impact Women's Champion. And yeah, she had her hardcore country theme song and gimmick. Everything about her was the Impact Mickie James. So crowd was hot. They were happy to see her. Alicia Fox makes her return, sporting some new ink. She had sleeves now on her arms.
Yeah, I thought I was saying to myself, like, because as we know, I didn't want her to show up at all, probably. And then when she did, showed up with a lot of tattoos. And I'm like, okay, as long as you keep your mouth shut and don't scream so loud, I need to adjust the volume on my television. She didn't, thankfully. He didn't, thankfully. So somebody backstage must have told her, like, Fox, you gotta
zip it.
Zip it.
Then we had Nikki Ash come out, and then Summer Rae make her big return, but she only lasts a few seconds. Then Nikki Bella comes out at 24, so we got a full Bella twin reunion. Her and Brie start working together, and they end up becoming like the heels of the rest of the match. And then another surprise entrance, Sarah Logan, making her big return, and she gets in there, hits a couple moves, and then she locks eyes with Liv Morgan. Both women just a huge smile, look like they're going to cry as the crowd pops for this Riot Squad reunion partial. But then the Bellas, they ruin it. They attack Logan, eliminate her, eliminate Liv Morgan. So, yeah, they're the big heels now. And then the legendary Lita comes out next. Although it was kind of weird booking. They had a baby face like her. She was the one that went after another crowd favorite, Mickie James, eliminated her. So, a little weird, but oh well.
Who knows?
Who knows? After that, mighty Molly Holly makes her entrance here, the original woman superhero. So, some great booking when Nikki Ash attacks her on the entrance ramp, beats the crap out of her, tosses her in the ring, and then knocks her right over the ropes to eliminate her. So, that was a fun interaction between those two.
Yeah, quick elimination.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully this heel Nikki, we're all just waiting for her to lose the costume. But then at number 28, we get confirmation. The hot rumors all weekend turned out to be true as Bad Reputation hits, signifying the return of Ronda Rousey. And she storms down to the ring. She's got that no-nonsense look on her face and makes an immediate impact, just laying blows down upon everyone. Gets a couple quick eliminations. At one point, Brie Bella also turns on Nikki to eliminate her to get revenge for a couple years ago. And number 29, we had Shotzi, and I was very disappointed with her booking because, you know, she comes out this late, gets 0 eliminations, and then she's gone in less than 3 minutes. So, disappointing for me. But then the final coveted number 30 spot goes to Shayna Baszler. So she comes out. This gives Rousey a big smile as these two are, you know, friends, allies. So we whittle our way down to the final 4. Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler. Belair and Shayna, they fight into the corner. Bianca picks her up for the KOD over the ropes. But then this asshole Charlotte comes in from behind and dumps them both to the floor. So now it's just Charlotte and Ronda. And it really didn't take long. They stare down for a bit. Charlotte runs in with a big boot. Rousey catches her, lifts her up, tosses her to the floor, ending the match. So Ronda Rousey, your Royal Rumble winner.
Wow, winner, Mike! I didn't think you would go through each entrant individually. I'm impressed that you that you remembered the order of which. Yeah, I mean, geez, I got to give
at least by name.
At least by name. I gotta give you kudos for that. It was great to see some great reactions from a lot of the women from the Divas era. You know, they seem to be welcomed by the crowd. You know, I think the Divas era is known as, you know, getting maybe a lot of stick from fans. You know, while the criticism should be at the booking, not the actual talent themselves, right? We saw everything in there. We saw the Ripley, Nikki ASH thing. You know, I'm sure. You know, you see kind of you see the people locking eyes, like they did many years ago. Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan was my biggest pop of the night, I gotta say.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
It was really the only, and kind of when you go through those lists, right, you think about the Michelle McCools, the Kelly Kellys, the Molly Holly. This is not their, even Alicia Fox, this isn't their first Rumble, and there's only been 3 Rumbles. And you're like, yeah, okay, you're back. But never in a million years thought I'd see Sarah Logan. And remember, she made it down to the final 2 in that very first Women's Royal Rumble.
Wow.
This is a match that she knows what's going on. And so that was my biggest pop of the night. And
of the night, wow.
Oh, sorry, of the match. Sorry. That was
Okay.
that was my
Well,
that was my biggest pop of this match. Well, in terms of that kind of big return thing, maybe a bit of a bummer that we didn't get to see, at least Io Shirai and Dakota Kai. For me personally, I understand. Maybe Bayley is still hurt. I know before we had mentioned, maybe Bayley will come back. Who the hell knows? She could still be injured or whatever, but. Especially someone like Io Shirai or Dakota Kai, you think that they would be fucking right there.
Yeah, and I thought maybe Asuka would be ready to come back.
Maybe even Asuka, yeah. They could be nursing injuries or whatever it is like that. But of course, as soon as Ronda Rousey, as soon as that music chimed, I think everyone in the back of their mind got the feeling of, well, there's a good chance she could win it.
Yeah.
So yeah, all in all, fun spot. Would have loved if that final showdown was maybe a little bit longer. Between Ronda, it was kind of like I was expecting at least a little bit of back and forth, not just really like Ronda won by Charlotte Flair fucking up. Ronda didn't win by her own like, look at me, I'm the best. She won just because Charlotte went for the boot, sold it. She's still our SmackDown Women's Champion though. Remember that.
Yeah, she'll have her own. I mean, she might even end up facing Ronda at WrestleMania. We'll see. But
Ronda has to make her choice, so...
Yeah, she'll make her choice, but she points at the WrestleMania sign. The pyro goes off, which will end up having an effect on our next match. But let's just give you a couple quick stats. Of course, Bianca Belair, she was the Iron Woman, lasting 47 minutes, 30 seconds. And Charlotte Flair had the most eliminations with 5. So, your top 2 of this year's Rumble.
Yeah, the big ones. The big ones, yeah.
The big ones.
Good stuff.
So let's go to this next match. Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's title against Doudrop. Big opportunity here. Biggest of her career. Getting a singles match on pay-per-view, not even on a pre-show. So
wow. There was no pre-show.
I mean, yeah, there was no pre-show match at all. There was an hour pre-show, but you missed nothing at all.
Yeah, not even a dark match, not even a... So,
yeah,
hey.
I just watched the first period of the Leaf game. That's what I was doing. So anyways, yeah, crowd, super hot for Becky, of course. But unfortunately, there was a couple things working against this match early on. I mean, of course, it's hard to follow a Royal Rumble when the crowd just spent all that energy on an hour-long match, but... the second big thing was the celebration from Ronda pointing at the WrestleMania sign caused the pyro that went off caused the sign to catch on fire. So early on in the match, you'll see like half the crowd, they're all got their heads turned to the side and people are recording on their phone. And yeah, apparently they had to lower the WrestleMania sign and evacuate the section of fans for a little bit.
Yeah, you can see these videos, and it was the same thing. You didn't know what was going on while it was happening, and you never want to look on Twitter or anything because there could be some kind of spoiler that you don't want. You're like, if I'm supposed to hear about it, they will tell me about it. And then we can wait until after. But yeah, of course. Usually when you see... everybody looking in one direction, you're thinking to yourself, oh, somebody like a performer coming through the crowd for some kind of funny business DQ or there's maybe like a fight in the crowd,
or like a fight,
exactly, somebody getting kicked out, something that you're like, okay,
Enzo Amore's in the front row.
Enzo Amore's in the front row again. If they want us to see it, they'll show it to us, but not in this case. You can see the videos. Yeah, it was on fire a bit, I guess. Why do we need the pyro directly beside the sign?
So it looks cool.
I mean, I guess, yeah. What are these signs made of? Is anyone checking the flammable materials?
Yeah, so that was a bit unfortunate, but I mean, the match itself was pretty good. Evenly fought, 13-minute bout. Outside the ring, Doudrop goes for a cannonball, but Becky avoids, so she slams hard into the steps. But then back in the ring, she starts hitting Becky with these big sentons, cannonballs in the corner, crushing her. But then Becky pulls out a new move, the Molly go round, tribute to Molly Holly. And
was that her little kind of like top rope flip thing?
Yeah,
that was cool.
Flip where she lands with her legs.
Yeah, I like
cool
that.
Move.
I like that one.
Yeah, cool stuff there. So, Doudrop though pulling out some a nice little Rikishi driver, a couple other big moves. She wants to finish the job, climbs up the ropes, but then Becky runs up after her and hits the manhandle slam off the second rope. That gets her the win to retain the title. So, yeah, I like the match. It was just, that unfortunate stuff distracting the crowd.
Yeah. So I guess that, that distracted the crowd for several minutes, which I'm sure. But, the match itself was great. Unfortunately, the crowd was just dead. But it was a good match. Nobody made any mistakes. It was just really too bad that with a louder crowd reaction, this would have come across as a bigger deal.
Yeah. If it was up to me, I would have swapped the position of this match with that mixed tag gender match.
Yeah, maybe just that could have been all it is, right? Just kind of reordering our booking decision. Could have been either.
But let's move right along to the WWE title match. We got Brock Lesnar defending against Bobby Lashley. The dream match that Bobby has wanted for years now. So, and I'm sure this is a dream match of Vince McMahon's because we got a lot of beef in this ring.
Oh, there's so much beef in here.
So much beef. And these guys were using it. Just big power moves, German suplexes all over the place by both men. Lesnar, especially, he jumps so high, nearly lands on his head, selling for Lashley here. So, Great stuff. Lesnar goes for the F5, but Lashley slips out, hits a spear, and then he hits a second spear. So Brock's in a bit of trouble here. He rolls out to the floor, stands up right in front of that magical spot, right in front of that barricade. So we all know what's coming. Lashley charges in for a spear. Brock avoids. Bobby crashes through the barricade. A spot that has become way too overused.
Like that one barricade. Just change it up. Do it.
It's always that one.
Pick a different one. You guys are rigging it yourselves, so just fucking change it.
No. It's every pay-per-view, and even a couple times on weekly TV we see it. So it's too much.
Too much, guys.
Yeah. Then Lesnar takes over, hits a bunch more suplexes, goes for the F5, but Lashley once again slips out, gets Brock in the Hurt Lock. So Brock's in trouble now. He charges into the corner to break Lashley off, but the referee kind of gets sandwiched in between, so he's damaged, and then Brock picks up Lashley, and this time he finally hits the F5, but as he's spinning Lashley around, his leg hits the ref on the head, so that knocks him all the way out. So Brock makes the pin, but there's no one there to count. And this is when Roman Reigns appears, hits Lesnar with a big spear, and then Roman walks over to Paul Heyman, who's been standing at ringside holding the WWE title. Reigns just holds out his hand. Heyman hands him the belt, and Reigns smashes Brock in the head with it, and then walks off with Paul Heyman. As the new referee runs out, Lashley makes the cover and gets the 3. So new WWE champion, 2-time Bobby Lashley.
2-time. 2.
2-time. And we get our confirmation that Heyman and Reigns, the split was never real. It was all just a ruse.
It was all just a ruse by the Penguin himself. My biggest takeaway was a actually probably like a retrospective takeaway. The intro video promo package that it had, with these two guys, featured a lot of clips of metal being forged directly after the Wrestlemania sign was set on fire. So in that way, it was like, bad timing. But yeah, these dudes weren't going to throw on a fucking technical showcase. Obviously, we know the type of matches Lesnar works, but we also know the type of matches Bobby Lashley works, right? We weren't going to get Lesnar Daniel Bryan on this one. We weren't going to get Lesnar Styles. It was just going to be a series of power moves. It was always going to be that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was pretty solid. He had the title change, which, I mean, Brock wasn't even really supposed to have that title to begin with, so we'll never know what the real finish was going to be at day one. I mean, rumors are that Seth Rollins was going to be the champ, so who the hell knows?
Well, in this, I feel as though this this kind of the now WrestleMania plans for the WWE title. Does Big E get thrown back into the mix? Is a guy like Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens? I mean, I still think it's going to, one of these four guys, it will be walking away with that WWE title at Mania.
Yeah.
They still feel like the top guys on Raw.
Yeah. I guess this Elimination Chamber coming up is going to decide a lot.
Yes, Chamber in Saudi. I think Lashley is set to defend in the Chamber. So,
yeah, we'll talk more about that on Raw. But we got the mixed tag match: Miz and Maurice taking on Edge and Beth Phoenix, the It couple versus Grit couple. But yeah, I didn't care too much about this match. I mean, the storyline of it. But, I mean, the wrestling was fine. It's kind of, nothing wrong with it. Crowd was into it. So, of course, Maurice was running around trying to avoid fighting as much as possible. So, Miz and Edge do a lot of the heavy lifting. But Maurice pops in for a little cheap shot when she can. And eventually, Beth Phoenix tags in, though, gets her hands on her, beats the shit out of her, goes for the pin. But Miz shoves her off to break it. So Beth says, fuck it, goes after the Miz, which allows Maurice to sneak in and nail Beth from behind with that loaded purse. So Maurice makes the cover, but Beth kicks out. The men tag in. Beth hits Miz with a powerbomb, and then Edge hits a rare high-flying move, a top rope elbow drop. Maurice, her one big spot of the match, she jumps off the top rope into a Hurricane Rana on Edge. And then Miz hits the skull-crushing finale. So it looks like they could have it won, but Edge kicks out of that. Then him and Beth just team up, hit a double spear, and then they both pick up their opponents for a double glam slam, and that gets the pinfall for the Grit couple.
Yeah, I think if Beth Phoenix, Edge, they win. I think out of these non-Rumble matches, there was 4 of them. I think this is probably the one that most people could want to cut out. Maybe agree to cut out, especially this pay-per-view felt like it felt long. I think at one point before we were kind of coming up to 11 p.m. by the time the Men's Rumble was starting, and I was looking back at the clock like, shit, we haven't had a long pay-per-view like this in a while, especially with Mania being split up over to 2 nights. Could this match have been cut? Probably would have saved 15. Maybe 20-ish minutes, maybe closer to 20 minutes, of course, after video package and all that kind of thing. But, yeah, what you going to do?
Yeah, what's done is done.
Exactly.
So, let's move right along to the main event of this premium live event. We have the men's traditional Royal Rumble match. And coming out at number 1 is your pick, AJ Styles.
I was fucked right off the bat.
Well,
as soon as it came at number 1, I'm like, fuck, those are not good odds. Those cannot be
not
good
odds.
odds.
Not good odds, but it's been done.
Yeah, it's been done, but...
Yeah, by Shawn Michaels, Edge, and one other person, as WWE likes to say.
Who's the other person?
Chris Benoit.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So we just don't mention.
So they'll just say, 3 people or something.
3 men have won, including Shawn Michaels and Edge, from number 1.
Number 1.
Anyways, I mean, but if you want to give a guy a chance, I mean, AJ, he's more than capable of doing it. I mean,
he's the guy who would have the best chance of doing it. You are right.
Yeah. Then coming out at number 2, Nakamura, former Royal Rumble winner himself. So, and of course, tons of history with AJ. So, got the crowd real hyped up for the start. They're going at it. Austin Theory comes out next, and he did pretty good, lasting over 20 minutes. Actually ended up being the second longest. There was no super long Iron Man in this one. So good for him. Robert Roode, he's in and out real quick. Ridge Holland is next. Montez Ford, Damian Priest, Sami Zayn. So we're starting to fill up now. And after Sami Zayn, of course, is Johnny Knoxville coming out. He had Preston Lacey, Wee Man, new guy Jasper. Yeah, movie comes out tonight, folks. You can go see it.
Oh, tonight? Yeah, I thought it was tomorrow. I'm so stoked.
Well, I think you can get a special Thursday sneak peek at some.
Oh, fantastic. That's what we need.
But yeah, I'm hoping to go see it. Anyways, yeah, Johnny Knoxville, he's dressed up in this goofy superhero-style gear. He's got the sports goggles on. Goes right after Sammy, just starts pounding on him. But then all the other wrestlers are like, hey, jackass, you don't belong here. They all team up on Johnny, hit him with all their moves. And Sammy finishes the job with a haluva kick, knocking him to the floor. So Sammy celebrates, then AJ scoops him from behind, eliminates him. So he's out. Then Angelo Dawkins is in, so him and Ford working together. And then at number 11, we had Omos. So I had some high expectations for him in this Rumble, but he really did not make much of an impact at all. I mean, he got 3 eliminations, but he only lasted 4 minutes, 24 seconds. So, yeah, I thought we would see more from Omos, or more of a 10 elimination.
It was only that, eh? Well, and typically the big guy is given that spot. Right? Yeah. Get a lot of eliminations, have a lot of guys to eliminate you.
Yeah, I just thought, yeah, whatever. He gets a couple eliminations, though. Then Ricochet comes out. Chad Gable comes out. And that's when things turn, as Gable coaches everyone in the ring. He's like, hey, guys, listen. You're doing it all wrong. We got to work together to take out the big guy. And then he tells Damian Priest, he's like, you're the biggest one. You go after him. So, yeah, he attacks Omos, but Omos gets the better, eliminates Priest. So then everyone just rushes Omos. They all jump on him. They're trying to push him over the ropes. But he's still hanging on. So Dominic Mysterio comes out next. He joins in the group, pushing Omos. And then AJ Styles hits the ropes, jumps in with a phenomenal forearm to finish the job, knocks Omos off the apron to eliminate him. But it took 6 men to do so.
Okay, that's an appropriate amount of, like that's a big show, Braun Strowman type of level. So I'm okay with that. Yeah,
I'm okay with all of it. I just thought they've been building him all year. I thought he'd have a bit more of a dominant performance.
Yeah, maybe. But, especially, breaking up with AJ. They've had their blow-off match already. You're kind of like, okay, what's keeping him around?
Yeah, so we'll see where he goes. But we're at the halfway point when Happy Corbin and Ziggler come out. Corbin eliminates Dominic Mysterio before Ray has even come out. So all that time of teasing this Ray and Dominic thing, and they don't even share the ring for a second, which I thought was kind of lame.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a bummer too, especially, because we're always thinking about Mania, right? You're like, okay, how do we get these guys to,
every week on Raw, they were throwing each other over the ropes every day on Raw. So I don't know, whatever.
Who knows?
We had Sheamus come out, and then Rick Boogs, who I think is the first time I've ever heard his entrance music. He didn't have his guitar. It was just
It was just him.
Yeah. It was just him and his rock song, whatever it is. Generic rock, but crowd seemed to cheer Boogs, but it's almost impossible to tell if they're saying Boogs or Boo. So he's got the perfect name.
Yeah.
Right. Boogs. Yeah. So, he was doing all right. Madcap Moss comes out to pretty much no reaction. But I'll tell you what, the crowd certainly reacts when him and Corbin team up against AJ. And motherfucking Madcap Moss is the one who tosses AJ Styles over the ropes to eliminate him.
Yeah, that one hurt me in particular.
That seems like an extra. Like, not only did AJ... that seems like they purposely did it to hurt you. To have Madcap Moss, of all people, eliminate AJ Styles.
Weird, very, very weird choice.
Very weird. But number 20, Matt Riddle comes out, so that cheers the crowd up a little bit. And there was even a couple hot rumors after the Rumble that someone pitched Riddle as a winner at one point. But whatever, we'll see. Drew McIntyre comes out next. He's back from injury and goes right after the guys that took him out, eliminating Corbin and Madcap, and beats them around with some steel steps. Then Kevin Owens comes out, Rey Mysterio, in his 13th Raw Rumble here, a former winner as well. And Kofi Kingston comes out at 24. Kevin Owens goes right after him. Kofi tries to springboard into the ring, but Owens shoves him. Kofi leaps to the barricade, to the barricade and tries to hang on to save himself, but his feet touch the ground. And slow motion replay confirms it. So Kofi is out. There is no hope spot.
Yeah, they went for the Kofi spot, of course. And it was weird because I thought to myself, oh shit, his feet hit. But then they very, very quickly went to a replay, and you could hear Michael Cole saying like, oh yeah, his feet touch. It was like, oh, they could have not shown us that replay. Maybe, like, how do you make that split-second decision, right? Like, don't show him the replay, and we pretend that his feet never touched. Or, you're like, oh, okay, we tried. We tried.
And the fact that they showed the replay so quick, I'm like, maybe this was so on purpose.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe that was the shtick, is that Kofi's done so many things, and maybe he was supposed to fail this time, but...
It was Kofi, so fast.
Kofi went on Twitter afterwards, though, and I think he confirmed it was a botched. He's like, I'd rather try and fail than not try at all, or something like that.
Oh, well, that's good on him.
So, you've done it. You earned a pass for this one. You've done so many good things. You weren't supposed to win the Rumble, so it's not a big deal. Then we had some big men. Otis comes out. Big E comes out. Number 27, a surprise entrance. Bad Bunny making his return, hopping along to the ring.
Big return.
Looking
big pop, too.
Yeah, and looking pretty good once again. This guy, he's serious. He's serious about this wrestling and hits some big high-flying moves. A Canadian Destroyer onto Matt Riddle, and even gets a couple big eliminations as Sheamus runs at him with a bro kick. He pulls down the ropes, knocks Sheamus out of the ring, and Bad Bunny and Rey Mysterio team up to eliminate Ziggler. So 2 eliminations for Bad Bunny. Only 1 less than Omos. Can you believe that?
I know, I can't. No, that feels weird.
Yeah. Then number 28 is Shane McMahon. The best in the world returns with the worst punches in the world. And this asshole goes on and eliminates Kevin Owens. What the hell is that about?
I mean, I guess they do have some kind of, they do have some history.
Yeah, but Kevin Owens, come on. Number 29, the big hometown hero, Randy Orton, comes out. Huge reaction here in St. Louis. And goes on a roll for a bit, teaming up with Riddle. They hit a bunch of RKOs, get a couple eliminations. And then we count down to the final spot. Number 30, who's it going to be? It's Brock Lesnar. So my pick, Seth Rollins, is out the window, not even in the match. So, hey. I guess your AJ did better.
I mean...
so Lesnar comes in and just quickly makes an impact, beating everyone up. Clotheslines Randy over the top rope. So just like that, 2 minutes and 21 seconds, the hometown boy is gone. That was a little surprising.
Quick, too. That was quick.
Too quick. Yeah, like him and Riddle barely got to do anything. Then Brock picks up the Bad Bunny, F5s him out of the ring, and then he catches Riddle, tosses him to the floor. So now he's just breaking hearts, just getting rid of all the crowd favorites. But nobody's heartbroken when he eliminates Shane McMahon next. And, I mean, before you even know it, blink and miss it, we don't even have a Final Four. We're down to just the final 2 now. Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre. So we got some history between these 2 men. I think we mentioned on this show, they had one of the greatest Royal Rumble moments ever together with that big elimination when Drew knocked Brock out a couple years back. But he wants to do it again, tries to hit Brock with a Claymore, but Brock just sidesteps, picks up Drew, F5s it to the floor to get the win. So Lesnar is going to WrestleMania. I mean, he was going anyways, but...
He would probably be there anyways.
Not the winner I wanted.
I mean, not the winner that probably you wanted, not the winner you saw, and it ended up being that I found myself more excited for the little bits, some of the little bits in the middle too, right? The Bad Bunny spot. The Bad Bunny had had one of the best Rumbles amongst all these men. He kind of got one of everything. He got a big spot, so he got the Destroyer. He got a big elimination. He took an F5. He kind of did a little bit, he kind of got to do everything almost as
if to team up with Rey Mysterio.
As if there's a Royal Rumble checklist. He got to go like boop, boop, boop. Like I got all those things. Now, I can only imagine that as soon as Lesnar lost his WWE Championship. There was probably a stir, an assumption that, hey, he could come in the Rumble and win it. But this, I think, I don't know, Mike, this was weird to me. Like, I feel as though the way that the Lesnar match ended with Roman, they just booked Roman and Lesnar right there. It was almost like as soon as
Roman
Paul
and
Heyman...
Rollins?
No, the end of the Lesnar match when Roman came back and he took Paul Heyman back with him. I was like, oh, they just booked that match for Mania, just in that one moment. And then to see to see Brock come out again and then win, sort of seemed like a hat on a hat. It's like somebody backstage was saying like, well, we need a reason like why he qualifies to take on Roman, and then somebody's like, boom, have him win the Rumble. But I think he kind of qualified to rematch with Roman without needing to win the Rumble. That being said, he could still go on to take on Bobby Lashley. That isn't to say that the decision is set in stone. However, if Lesnar Reigns was the money match in the first place, I don't think he needed to win the Rumble for that.
Yeah, not the winner, not the exciting winner that I wanted, but I mean, it's not the worst winner of all time, but yeah, definitely not something Brock needed in any way.
Who's your least worthy winner ever?
Probably Alberto Del Rio.
Okay, a guy like that, where we had seen, AJ Styles put on a great performance. Matt Riddle, a name that you just threw out there, would have been he's got world champ written all over those abs. So this could have been an opportunity for Big E to say like, hey, I'm still fucking here and I'm still fucking relevant. Big
E did pretty much nothing. I only mentioned his name and that was it.
Virtually nothing. It was nice that Drew Brock, that's what it kind of came down to, because then in my mind I'm thinking like, yeah, Drew never got that moment in front of the crowd at Mania. Maybe this is it. And then that also didn't happen.
And I mean the whole thing, like there was no exciting, like the Final Four, you didn't even really notice, they were just out. And Shane McMahon was part of the Final Four. What the hell is that?
Yeah, all in all, I think it kind of fell a little bit flat. I had a lot of fun moments throughout the pay-per-view, but really just this men's match when it came to just the winner and kind of the order of eliminations. That was really the worst part for me, which sucks because that should be the best part.
Yeah. No, I thought, AJ Styles, he was your Iron Man, 20 minutes and 6 seconds. Which,
that's not a lot.
It's a good time. It's not a lot, though.
Less than half the amount of time that the Rumble was going on for.
Yeah, and he also had the most eliminations with 6. So, not the result you wanted, but still the strongest statistical showing.
Yeah, 2 out of 3. Anyway. Most eliminations, longest time, just couldn't get the win.
Yeah, well, speaking of time, Brock Lesnar, only 2 minutes and 32 seconds for him in the fucking ring. So,
jeez.
Little bastard.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, oddly booked for me personally. Just kind of when it comes down to that champion. But I guess, Brock... And he's a Rumble champion already. It's he's going to the Hall of Fame now with at least 2 Rumble wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, overall, I thought the Women's Rumble was the better of the two, which seems to happen most years. I think almost every year but one.
The Drew 2019, that was
the Drew
big.
Year, yeah.
That being said, though, this is 2 Rumbles straight now of, at least on the men's side, part-timers winning. And Edge, I know, is kind of a tweener when it comes to the part-timer, but I only mean part-timer in the sense that we'll see a guy like Riddle in a normal match on Raw. We just don't see Edge on we don't see Edge and Otis on fucking Raw, but we do see Matt Riddle take on guy. We'll see Riddle, Corbin, Riddle, this guy, that kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, the Women's Rumble, I thought, just had the more fun surprises and returns. And yeah, the booking. Like, the Men's Rumble didn't play off any of the stories, like the Ray and the Dominic.
Yeah, we didn't get Ray Dominic. We didn't get Riddle, Randy. That isn't to say that these things won't eventually happen. They could just be holding out for a bigger moment. But clearly tonight was about Brock Lesnar. It was about his stories. It was about where he's going. It's about, what's going on in his life. It really felt, after the entire show, it felt like none of the other male competitors even fucking mattered.
Well, also not a single NXT wrestler to be found on either Rumble.
We were expecting the likes of maybe a Ciampa or a Peter Dune, or hell, even Braun Breaker for a little pop. Why not?
I mean, yeah, Roddy Strong, any of those guys. So I don't know. I guess they firmly want to firmly separate those worlds for now. Who knows?
That being said, though, it was nice to not get a Goldberg or like Kane for some reason. We didn't get any of those, or like Hornswoggle. Like, we didn't get any of the okay, no one gives a shit kind of returns. So that was a positive.
Yeah, no, everyone pretty much had at least some parts of
a moment, exactly.
A moment.
Okay. Well, that's the Rumble in the rear view, baby, which means that we are on the road to WrestleMania. So let's move on with the podcast, then, shall we? Let's move on to crowning a brand new Tweet of the Week champion. It's the Tweet of the Week. It's the Tweet of the Week. We're crowning a brand new Tweet League champion, a brand new first time ever to our NXT champion, Braun Breaker.
Wow, I didn't even know he was on Twitter.
I didn't even know that he was in the world either. But Braun Breaker seems to be building a little bit of online social media heat with none other than Dolph Ziggler. Braun Breaker tweeted out to the world on the other day, at Heel Ziggler, says he doesn't work on Tuesdays. Apparently he can't work Saturdays either, followed by a video clip of Dolph Ziggler being thrown over that top rope in St. Louis at the Royal Rumble. Dolph Ziggler seems like the kind of guy who could, make an NXT appearance.
Yeah, I mean, AJ Styles just did it recently, so why not Ziggler?
Why not Ziggler? Braun Breaker seems like the perfect guy to kick out of a zigzag.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Kick out at one.
Kick out at one. So there you have it. Tweet of the Week champion. Congratulations to Braun Breaker, our NXT champion. So let's follow up the Rumble then, shall we? The Rumble was on Saturday. So we're going to kick our way through the weekend, where we show up on Monday on the USA Network, the home of Monday Night Raw.
Let's get raw. Let's get raw.
Yes, among others.
Yeah, amongst other things, I'm sure.
But yeah, we only care about Raw here. So Adam Pearce comes out to announce the main event for the Saudi Arabia Elimination Chamber will be Bobby Lashley defending his title inside the chamber. So we'll have a couple qualifying matches. A couple people just get put in for free. We'll figure that out throughout the night. But
that's always the weirdest thing, when you qualify. And we do this all the time for all sorts of battle royals, all sorts of chamber things, Money in the Bank. Some people just get to go there. Some people have to fight their way to it. Always bizarre.
Yeah. So Lashley comes out with MVP, looking real sharp in his new suit. He's not too happy with Pierce's announcements after he just busted his ass to win the title. But then Brock Lesnar interrupts, and he's dressed for a fight. He's got his ring gear on and tells MVP to shut the hell up or I'll stick the cane right up your ass. And he addresses Bobby, says, "Where's your pride? You know you didn't beat me Saturday night. You only won thanks to Roman and Heyman. But then I went on and won the Rumble. But don't worry, I'm not going to challenge you at Mania. I'm going to challenge Roman Reigns." So we've got that question answered. But he says it's going to be title versus title because, as you can see, I'm dressed for a fight. And I'm challenging you to a rematch right here tonight. But MVP says, nope, we decline. So Brock says, "Bobby, you're nothing but a little chicken shit," which pisses off Lashley big time, but still not quite enough to accept the match. So he walks off, and Pierce announces that Lesnar is officially inserted to the Elimination Chamber match.
Okay.
So no qualifying. Yeah. So that's your 2 spots eaten up so far out of the 6. Then we get to our first match. Rhea Ripley takes on Nikki Ash. The big grudge match here. And pretty decent fight. Both women getting some near falls. Nikki goes for her neck breaker, but Ripley counters with a vicious riptide to get the pin. And that riptide looked extra devastating.
Extra devastating. It's nice to see that these two are kind of finally going at it.
Yeah, hopefully wrapping up the feud.
Decent match. I was going to say it did not feel like a blow off to the feud. It felt kind of just like a random match on a Monday. I don't know if you...
didn't really get...
Yeah, exactly. I think until we see that full kind of heel transition for Nikki ASH, we'll keep going.
Yeah. Let's go backstage for round 2 of the Alpha Academy Academic Challenges. This week we have the scooter race. We got Riddle racing against Gable, so just one-on-one here. And Gable's all dressed up. He's got a speed suit, full body suit with a helmet, sent to him by fellow Olympian speed skaters. So nice little advantage for him there. And the rules are 50 laps around the arena, and then you got to cross the finish line at ringside. So this is like a NASCAR endurance race. Anyways, we'll give you some updates later.
more on that to come.
Yes. You're not going to sit here and watch 50 laps, so we get more therapy between Alexa Bliss and the doctor. And talking about Lily, the doctor pulls out a Lily doll, and he's like, no, this isn't the real Lily. I bought this on WWE Shop.
Use promo code Lily for 15% off.
Yeah, pretty much. And Alexa just gets a big smile. The doctor hands her the doll, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, that was about it. Also, Alexa Bliss looking less and less in her Fiend stolen persona and more, she was wearing an outfit less Fiendy, more goddessy. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
I think her lipstick was less black.
Yeah, exactly.
So
because another woman who we did not see at the Rumble.
That's right. Yeah, Alexa Bliss. I thought we might see and attack Charlotte and have something there, but yeah. So a lot of women on the sidelines were waiting to come back.
Yeah.
But then we go to The Miz taking on Dominic Mysterio, and Miz spends a lot of the match arguing with Ray at ringside. But then Miz falls down pretending Ray tripped him. And the stupid ref just buys it without even seeing it. So he ejects Ray. Ejects him from ringside, which distracts Dominic, allowing Miz to hit skull-crushing finale for the win.
Yeah, short match, but classic Miz heel match, winning the dirty way, as it were. Miz Mysterios? Maybe that's where we're going.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're on the road, baby, so my mind's going a million miles a minute.
Yeah, well, a million miles a minute. That's what Tamina's doing, chasing 24/7 champ Dana Brooke right through the racetrack. We're at lap 18 of the scooter race. And then at lap 25, Riddle runs right into Omos and just tells him he has beautiful eyes and moves along.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Kevin Owens comes out for the KO show and talks about the road to WrestleMania and announces that he's in the chamber match. So he's one of those privileged few that just gets to announce it. Or maybe not, because he says as soon as I beat Austin Theory. So he's got to do that.
No, okay, he's got to do that first.
Yeah. But then he brings out his guest, Seth Rollins, who gets a great response from the crowd. And they talk about the bullshit that Reigns pulled against Seth at the Rumble. And Owens says, you got screwed. You're the Universal Champion of my heart. And Rollins says, well, that's SmackDown business, and this is Raw, so I'd like to announce that I will be in the chamber.
Okay, baby.
So he doesn't have to qualify. But Austin Theory comes out. He's got a match, so Theory versus Owens. This one is the qualifying match, and pretty good stuff here. Theory, he's been on a bit of a roll, and there was one nasty spot where he grabs Owens and just slams him backwards onto the steps, like right onto the edge, and I don't even know how Owens sold that.
Yeah, who knows what's going on here.
It was a good move. Both men pulling out a lot of the big moves. Owens goes for a powerbomb on the apron, but Theory escapes. And when Owens goes back in the ring, Theory kicks the rope, snapping it into Kevin Owens' testicles, which allows Theory to hit the ATL. Get the big win. Theory is going to Saudi.
Well, I mean, Theory's going to Saudi, baby. I said this. Let's roll back the tape to where I said that Austin Theory's going to have a big 2022. With opportunities like this, opportunities to be in a chamber matchup, opportunities to win a Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, opportunities to win Money in the Bank. Like, this dude's just oozing with that kind of potential. I think. And I'm looking at this match, and I think Austin Theory is the youngest person, at least out of the names that have been announced so far in this matchup. Austin Theory is the youngest by like 10 years. It's wild. He's a decade younger. He's a decade younger than Matt Riddle. He's like 20 years younger than AJ Styles. All sorts of. It's crazy. It's crazy.
We go backstage once again where the race continues. Street Profits watching on the sidelines, rooting for Riddle. They hand him some cups, some nice refreshments to rehydrate. But Riddle takes a sip. He's like, "That's not a sports drink. See you later, dudes." And he rolls off. Gable rolls up next. He says, "Give me a drink." But they're like, "No." And then Otis walks up with a cup in hand. So Gable takes it, drinks, spits it out. Says, "What is this, steak sauce?" And Otis is just like, "Of course."
Of course. A straight A1, baby. A1.
11 laps to go, folks. Angelo Dawkins takes on Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler dominates early on, but Dawkins fights back, hits the silencer to get the big win.
That big silencer. Dolph Ziggler still kicking around. He's a pro. This is what he does. Will we see Montez Ford then, I guess, next? Maybe Ziggler Ford?
Against Rude.
Ziggler Rude. Okay, yeah, Ford Rude. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then Ziggler Ford, and then Dawkins Rude.
Yeah, we'll do all of them.
Backstage, we're on to lap 49 out of 50. Riddle and Gable are neck and neck. They're breathing heavy. We're on to the final lap now. Both men coming down the ramp. But at the turn, Gable falls off his scooter and hurts himself. So Riddle, he's got all the time in the world. He's fist bumping the crowd. He turns around the final corner, about to pass the finish line when Otis jumps out, attacks him, knocks him off the scooter. So the path is now wide open for Gable. He scoots on by, even does a little lap around Riddle, and wins the race. So the series is now tied 1-1.
I think remember in that in the Viking Raiders thing, I swear we got to like 12 different sports competitions, if you can recall. We like the mini golf, we did like the bowling, we did all sorts of shit. As long as we don't go 13 weeks of this back and forth competition, I think we're good.
I think they announced it's the best of 3, so I think only one.
Fantastic! Announce it right off the bat, so I know what I'm in for.
Yeah, but Riddle's pissed off about that shenanigans, so Gable says you could have a match with Otis. So yeah, Riddle takes on Otis, and then before it could start, Adam Pearce comes out and says, "Guess what? This match is now a chamber qualifying match."
Jeez.
So. Yeah, but I mean, Riddle just went through a marathon 50-lap race, so that's a bit... Otis has a clear advantage here.
Mm-hmm.
He beats Riddle up. Riddle's bumping all over the ring for him. But then Riddle has his big comeback, hits the floating bro twice in a row, and gets a 3 count. So Riddle has earned himself a spot in the chamber.
Easy does it for the premier athlete of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, he's up there.
At least Chad Gable won the scooter race, so gotta give him that.
Yeah, but when you want to talk about premier athletes, we got Bianca Belair up next, taking on Carmella, who's very fit in her own right, but wearing the black gimp mask again. Black is not of all them. Yeah,
of all the colors, like to make a mask, there's one color which has a strict implication.
And it's even got like the little metal studs on it and everything.
Maybe Vince has never seen Pulp Fiction. I mean, it's got to be that, right? You think any movie with like time jumping, with like a non-linear storytelling, Vince has no clue what's going on. So he's not paying attention to. It's like, what is this?
I think I remember.
Thought Travolta was dead.
Someone described Vince once. They're like, not only has Vince McMahon never seen Scarface, he hasn't even heard of it.
Scarface,
he knows
what's
nothing
that?
about it.
Sounds like a good gimmick.
That was it. Razor Ramon was Tony Montana, and Vince had no idea.
Yeah, I bet, and that's the thing, right? I bet like they're already going to be on TV. All these steps happen, and then somebody offhand will be like, "Yeah, it's funny. It's like Tony Montana." He's like, "Who's that?"
So anyways,
I
Carmella's.
don't watch football. He's like, "Sir, are you thinking Joe Montana?" I don't know.
Yeah. So anyways, Carmella fighting dirty, but it doesn't matter. Belair takes over. KOD gets the win, as she should.
As she should. I don't think Queen Zelina was not there this evening. However, the two of them are still the tag champions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah,
there.
just kind of the way, I guess, keep Belair around. Maybe there's a grander scheme. Bianca Belair finds herself a partner and goes after those women's tag titles.
I think she'll still find her way back to Becky for WrestleMania.
Yeah?
I hope. Mm-hmm. AJ Styles taking on Rey Mysterio up next for our final Elimination Chamber qualifier spot. They shake hands, show some nice respect, and then go on to have a nice solid match here. And two veterans, well scouted each other, and pulling off lots of great counters to each other's signature moves. And just a real hot match. Crowd was getting into it, and eventually Rey hits a 619, goes for a splash. AJ avoids it. So Rey goes for a flying seated senton, but AJ catches him right into a Styles clash. Hits it perfectly to get the win. So AJ Styles going to Saudi.
Yeah, going to Saudi. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, so chamber match is looking pretty good.
Yeah.
But the final part of the show, Women's Royal Rumble winner Ronda Rousey comes out, gets a big pop, gets on the mic, and says she's been debating over whose title she wants to take. And, I've got some unfinished business with both Charlotte and Rebecca. She says the biggest fight any woman can have is with me and Rebecca.
I've never heard.
She kept saying Rebecca.
I almost like we're changing gimmicks or something. I've never heard ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's her thing.
Are we changing gimmicks? Because we've said goodbye to the man, and now we're on to this big time Bex thing. Are we kind of retooling to use the word Rebecca? I don't know, but either way,
I think it's just Ronda trying to be like tough.
Yeah, tough. Kind of like in that kind of way. Either way, Rebecca comes out in a fantastic. I wouldn't call it a shirt. I'd call it kind of like a half of a chicken costume, almost.
Yeah, she's got some great stuff. It's like half pirate, half. Well, this week was I don't even know what it was.
I don't even know what it was, but like we've said before, that Rollins Lynch home closet is
the wardrobe
popping.
So Becky says, "Oh, I missed you too, Ronda, you little weirdo," and I'm the only one in the company that's been able to beat you, and since that time, not a single person has beaten me for this title. So we all know Rousey versus Lynch is the biggest match, but seeing as it's your first WrestleMania back, I don't blame you for wanting an appetizer like Charlotte before the main course Becky. But come on, please decide soon, because I want to know who I'm beating next. And Becky shoves the mic in Rousey's face. Rousey just grabs her arm, judo tosses her to the ground, and says, "You'll have your answer Friday," and throws the mic at her and walks off. But Becky just keeps talking trash, and then Lita comes out. And she's like, "Wow, Becky, Ronda's rude. What's her problem, huh?" Lita just puts Becky over. Becky returns the favor. Lita says, "You're a fighting champ who doesn't back down from a challenge, so I was thinking How about you and me at Elimination Chamber? Becky says, what? No. The crowd says, yes. And Lita says, oh, you're scared? Becky says, no, you want the match? You got it. So Lita smiles and walks off.
Smiles and walks off. It's just that easy.
That was it.
Well, throughout the Rumble, there was actually, and throughout the Women's Rumble, there was actually like a little bit of a feeling there that Lita and Charlotte were kind of going at it, and commentary was putting over a little bit of the two of them together, fighting.
Yeah, I mean, they had that interaction on SmackDown, and in the Rumble, a couple moves on each other, so seems like they changed directions on that if they were planning it. I don't know.
I mean, not to say that they're still not planning it. Now, if Ronda Rebecca is the match to go with for Mania, I really hope to see. Sometimes we see Royal Rumble winners booked very, very seldomly between the Rumble and Mania, to build up anticipation for the big time they get in the ring. I think maybe Ronda's been out a little too long for that same kind of build up. I would love to see her come in and start at least seeing her on television every week, if not seeing her in a couple matches. Kind of similar to a way that Brock has been booked ever since coming back at SummerSlam, or ever since his return. We've seen a lot of Brock. He's really in the front of our minds. We've seen him in matches. We've seen him in beatdowns. We've seen him in betrayals. I would love to see Ronda Rousey booked in a similar way.
Yeah, I think Ronda versus Charlotte is the way to go, because I don't think anyone's going to cheer Ronda over Becky, and Bianca Belair. They got all this unfinished business, so let's do that.
Yeah, Becky would have to do a lot for Ronda to be the clear babyface there, and also the Ronda Rousey model is a tweener in the first place.
Yeah.
Sort of like where the reactions you're getting are because of your name, not because of the kind of character you're portraying.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that
was Monday Night Raw. Both Rumbles. My lord, Mike, should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
It's a padded show this week, folks. We're going to come back because, of course, NXT 2.0 rolls on. We still have some Dynamite to cover, so you're going to want to stick around.
Let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, brother, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, brother, yeah.
Back here with part 2 of the podcast, folks. Thanks for sticking it out through the break. And especially hope you enjoyed our whole kind of first half coverage as we begin the road to WrestleMania. This is it.
This is the one.
I think Mania, we said this before, I think at Cowboys Stadium, wherever that is, in Arlington, Texas. Get your tickets now because it's sign point in season. Hopefully the sign won't catch on fire again.
Who knows?
Between now and then, but who knows? Maybe we'll do it once as like a joke, like a reference, like get it?
Maybe.
But let's get into some non-WrestleMania action. Of course, second half of our show covering the rest of the professional wrestling world that's not the main roster. So let's move ourselves over to some NXT.
NXT, what does it mean? I don't know, but it's good wrestling. So NXT, watch and see. Gotta tap out a count out of 1, 2, 3. So
We are here Tuesday night. We've got a 6-man tag match to start things off. Imperium taking on Diamond Mine. Roddy Strong and the Creed brothers. So, always a treat to see Gunther in action. But the crowd's still chanting Walter.
That's still weird. I don't like it. Still don't like it.
Yeah, still weird. But everyone in the match chips in, carrying their weight here, or tossing it around. Comes down to Gunther and one of the Creed brothers. Still don't know who's who.
Couldn't tell you which.
Gunther hits him with his massive power bomb. Gets a 3 count for Imperium.
Biggest takeaway for me was the length of time it will take for the fans to truly change the wrestling, especially because the gimmick didn't change. He's still like nothing. The ring general, like kind of like a you change the gimmick while changing the name. You can kind of put two and two together, which sucks because it sucks that was my bigger takeaway rather than like a pretty good 6-man tag, which WWE does a lot. They're great at these. They're great at these multi-man tag matches. It was nice to see Roderick Strong still working with the Creed brothers, despite us thinking maybe that loss means his, the loss of the Cruiserweight title might mean that his time in NXT is over, but he's still going. Marina Shafir, too, still getting those wins on AEW Dark, so keep an eye out.
Yeah, I mean, we're all on Roddy watch.
Roddy watch!
When he eventually goes to AEW. But, I mean, Undisputed Era did start off with just 3 guys, and they added Roddy after, so we'll do that again, right?
Yes, in a legendary heel turn.
Yeah, the armband. That was a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
Toxic Attraction coming out next to cut a promo on Indy Hartwell, Persia Pirotta, and they announced that they're going to defend their tag titles against them at Vengeance Day in 2 weeks. So.
Vengeance Day, of course, that's what we are building up to. It'll just be a normal Tuesday night show, nothing, nothing, not on weekends. So we're used to this. We've seen this before.
Yeah, but they like to stack the card with some title matches. So Kaylee Ray comes out next and says, "Hey, Mandy, your turn. Give me a title match." But Mandy says no. So Kaylee threatens her with a baseball bat. And Kaylee says, "You know who I am. I'm the longest reigning women's champion of the modern era." For those that don't know, NXT UK, she had a 649-day reign. So,
wow,
dominant. She dominated an entire continent. Well, you were over here.
Well, I don't think UK is the continent, but I'll give you that. That is 4
Those
countries.
are her words, not mine.
That is 4 countries to dominate, so I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's not the European Championship like it used to be.
No, of course not.
Anyways, she says, "Mandy, you were over here slipping on your ass at WrestleMania." We all remember was that this year? The rainy slipped on her last year.
Yeah, last year, night 1, I think, was the rainy one.
Night 1, yeah, the rain delay that made me win my prediction for the time thanks to that rain delay.
I mean, that could have been it. That could have been it, to be honest.
But anyways, yeah, you're slipping in the rain, you're sucking the face of Otis, and Mandy's like, "Yeah, well, look at me now." But at the end, she still does not accept the match. So Kaylee slaps her and leaves, and they go to the parking lot, and Kaylee steals Mandy's car and kidnaps the other members of Toxic Attraction.
Within the car already still, I guess?
They hop in, and so she drives off, but she ends up coming back, and they just, throughout the show, it was almost like a 24/7 segment. They were just running around backstage.
Just running around, trying to hijack the van, and then...
Yeah.
Who the hell knows? At one point, Malik Blade and Edris Enofi are there.
She falls
into one of them. Yeah, bizarre.
He's crushing on her.
I think Kaylee Ray dumps a big bowl of spaghetti.
So this whole thing felt like Vince McMahon comedy. Like a cake gets
there
smashed
was a
in
cake
her face,
smash.
spaghetti on her head.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't seem like Triple H, Shawn Michaels NXT booking.
Certainly does not. No, this has Pritchard written all over it.
Yeah. But let's go to some women's action. Cora Jade taking on Raquel Gonzalez. So Cora bit off a lot here. Can she chew it? Well, she does pretty well. She's got the crowd cheering for her, rooting for her a bit, but eventually Raquel just catches her, hits the big Chingola bomb, get the win.
Mm-hmm.
But Raquel was impressed, though. She shows respect, picks her up, shakes her hand, and says, "Hey, you and me, let's go win this Dusty Cup." So looks like they're in. We still don't know the bracket for the women's side.
Still don't know, but we know this is a classic story, right? The underdog rookie fighting to prove that they have heart. They can perform alongside a veteran. So yeah, that's what we've seen before, right? And we will see it again. But so far, Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade are the only actual guaranteed team for this unannounced Dusty Tag Team Classic. And although they are the only team, I gotta say it right now, I'm gonna call them early favorites.
Yeah, no, I like this matchup. Obviously, they've got a lot of faith in the future of Cora Jade and Raquel, former champion as well. So, yeah, they've got a good chance.
Yeah.
Definitely got a good chance
Very much
in this
so.
bracket, this unannounced bracket. But then we get the return of Saray, who backstage, she's walking up to the curtain. She's got her new her schoolgirl outfit on, whatever, with this
Big
special
round
necklace with a
round
jewel.
Harry Potter glasses.
Yeah. But then as soon as she walks through the curtain, she just transforms back into regular Saray, who looks much better for a wrestling thing. Yeah, she's like a Power Ranger. She just transforms. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know if that's one of those things where it's is that a thing? Or we're like, okay, this is the
really
way this
don't
goes.
know.
I have no idea.
Because like afterwards, they interviewed her and she said something about her necklace. Like, is her necklace?
Yeah, as
jewel
if it's like
powers?
a power ring, a power
Yeah.
necklace type of thing, and you change. I have no idea.
So it was kind of weird, but anyways,
Whatever.
when the bell rings, she's back to pretty much the regular Saray we knew, taking on Kayla Inlay here, who does all right, gets a few moves in, but Saray has her outmatched, hits the Saito suplex to get the win in her return.
In the big return, I guess. Yeah, this was good. Hopefully a big part of the NXT Women's division to come.
Yeah, we still haven't really seen much of what she can do. Just these limited little matches here and there.
Yeah, little things, yeah.
Yeah. Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams come out, cut a promo on Cameron Grimes being the next challenger for the North American title. So Grimes just comes out to respond, and yeah, we'll see that match at V-Day.
Vengeance Day. Bow, wow, 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 wow.
I still can't get over, though. Grimes, he's looking too clean these days. That hair, that beard.
Yeah,
Too clean.
it's like it's getting, because now the beard is sort of it groomed in the way that somebody grooms a beard always. It's like you kind of keep you have your clippers and you're like, okay, I'm going to go for the half inch. And then every couple days you trim yourself down to the half inch. That's kind of what he's doing now.
Yeah, it's definitely not letting it grow back to what it was.
No.
But, hey, I mean, if that's what he wants, but
That's what he wants
I
to do.
prefer the old look Grimes, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't
LA Knight
I didn't like
coming out.
I didn't like the whole segment though. It just felt awkward.
Yeah, no, it
Especially
didn't really.
with, they had this whole Mandy thing. There were a few elements on the show that had awkward feelings.
Yeah, it definitely didn't feel like, the normal kind of booking for an NXT show.
No, a lot of things felt very off. Yeah.
Yeah. But after that, we had LA Knight, who's getting the huge babyface reactions now, taking on Joe Gacy here. And, the fans all chanting LA Knight. They're going back and forth until Harlan distracts the referee. And then that big guy in the suit shows up once again. I don't think they've named him yet. But, ponytail, beard. He just looks kind of like Wardlow, I guess.
Yeah, he's the Wardlow that I guess they want but can't have, maybe?
Yeah, so he shows up to distract LA Knight, and then Grayson Waller shows up to hit his little rolling stunner on Knight, so it's like a triple distraction going on here. LA Knight gets back in the ring. Joe Gacy hits a handspring elbow to get the win. So, some cheap shit there against poor LA Knight.
Yeah, some cheap shit going on there between all these distractions. But maybe in a way to cement the LA Knight babyface turn, because everything about him still feels, like he just looks like a fucking heel, in that same kind of way that, like you hear him seeing him on screen and hearing him talk for 10 seconds. You're like, yep, heel. And almost in that way that The Miz has a similar vibe going for him too, right? Maybe this is all just ways that we can really make sure he's a babyface.
Maybe. I don't know. He's one of those guys that I thought we might have been seeing in the Rumble that...
But never
I feel
did,
like he's the kind of guy Vince would...
Never did.
So, who knows? But after this, we got Wendy Chu taking on Amari Miller. And I know we haven't seen much of her, but I think I'm all in on this sleepyhead Wendy Chu. I think it's fun.
You're all about it.
I
You're
know
all
it's
about
similar
it.
similar to Orange Cassidy, but I think it's different enough that she's got her own thing going on.
Yeah, because Orange Cassidy doesn't have like an explicit "I'm sleeping" thing. It's
like, I'm
just
just
an
lazy.
"I'm lazy" or an "I'm better than this" kind of thing. It's a little bit different.
Yeah. So she gets a leg lock on Miller and then just wraps herself up on her leg like a sleepy sloth. So integrating it into her moveset there.
Mm-hmm.
But, much like Orange Cassidy, she gets serious, starts doing some nice overhead throws, and she's in control when Tiffany Stratton comes out. Because earlier backstage, she made an offer to Miller that she's going to take her shopping. Anything she wants, she'll put it on the credit card. Stratton slides the credit card right into the ring to Miller to remind her of the offer. She picks it up, but then Wendy comes flying in with a big double axe handle. Gets a 3 count. A little bit of an underwhelming finishing move, but I guess it's only Amari Miller, so it's not a big deal. But Stratton wants her card back from Miller, but she can't find it. And then on the ramp, Wendy reveals that she stole it. That's a serious crime.
That's identity fraud.
Yeah. So who knows? But Wendy Chu gets the win.
Which, I mean, God, this is Chu's first win. I feel like she has more wins now than she did as the as Mei Ying.
Yeah. And she moves around more, even though she's supposed to be more lazy.
Even though you're more sleepy, yeah, you do a little bit more.
Then we got this video package for a new star, Nikita Lyons, who appears to be a singer, but I thought this was some terrible stuff going on.
I had no clue, especially because it had been a little while since. I remember when 2.0 first came out. It was very much like there was I think it was either New Year's Evil. There was one of their special shows where between every match was 2 video packages of new performers, and I could not keep up with who the fuck was who. And now we've calmed down on that a bit, and now we can really focus on the new people. And I'm already like, do we need someone new? I mean, this one, yeah.
This one looked like someone who had no experience singing at all. They just want to put that gimmick on them rather than someone who already like hit row. They're already into like kind of doing stuff.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of that thing where I feel it very much kind of like a WCW kind of thing, where there's just like there's like a hat of like pick your gimmick out of a hat. And then you're a singer, you're a farmer, you're a skateboarder, you're it's just sort of, instead of working with a talent to be a potential, who are you actually and how can we make this work? It feels more like gimmicks from a hat.
Yeah, this video did not get me excited for her.
Absolutely not. I'd rather, let's see Poppy out there in the ring.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Then we got Andre Chase taking on Draco Anthony, who Draco is much bigger of the two, and he disrespects Chase University. He grabs their flag and stomps it on the ground. That's a crime in some countries.
Yeah.
And this causes Chase to just go wild, though, and he hits his finishing move to get the win. Yeah,
I mean, Andre Chase pretty much exclusively loses. So if he's going to be, if he's going to be a heel type, it almost feels like that Andre Chase is being thrown into this Baron Corbin role, where it's like, hey, you're going to be on TV every single week. You're probably going to lose. You're probably going to win. The segments might be good. The segments might suck, but you're going to be out there every single week. And Andre Chase is just like, okay, let's go. So we will.
He's
see.
Like, there's nothing. He looks so like, even with the big baggy sweater on, he looks skinny. He looks
he looks very nothing. Yeah, I think he's
like
not.
At least Corbin, you're like, this guy could win a bar fight.
You're like, okay, he's a big motherfucker. Maybe overall presentation. Maybe that's what we were thinking of.
Yeah. Oh well, we go to Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker taking on Legado del Fantasma. And just a solid, fast-paced tag team match here. Breaker and Ciampa working well together. This budding friendship, doing some nice tandem moves, and the crowd's rooting for them. They're doing too well. So Santos Escobar tries to interfere, and Mendoza hits a nice Phoenix splash on Breaker for a 2 count. And then Wild, he climbs up the top rope. Ciampa shoves him off, and he goes flying through the announce table. So he's out of the match. And then back in the ring, Breaker hits Mendoza with his military press slam to get the win.
Okay. You know, a classic Ciampa Breaker working together. They both did the little patting on the back bit.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the little Ciampa
the classic Ciampa thing. But Tommaso Ciampa, he can't play Braun Breaker's protector for too long. You know, he's a man. He needs to find either a fresh angle or move up the roster. We've already dyed his beard. He's getting
I think
he's getting these dark matches that we've heard about before, tapings of SmackDown and Raw. So I feel like we gotta drop the fucking hammer on him, or drop the nail, punch the hammer. What's the expression? We got to do it.
I mean, either or. I thought definitely the dyeing of the beard was a big sign that. That's a Vince McMahon thing. Dye his goddamn beard.
Dye your beard, god damn it! You're young.
Yeah. Probably. Then I think at the very end, Mandy Rose and Kaylee Ray come running out. Kaylee corners Mandy with the baseball bat. Finally gets her to agree to a title match. But it's going to be next week, not at Vengeance Day. I think that's what they said.
Yeah, that is what they said, unless there was a bit of a kind of misspeak. The match could be next week, yeah.
Yeah. So then at the end, Kaylee hits her with the KLR bomb. Leaves her laid out, but I don't think she will be the one to take the title.
Yeah, I'm curious, because Mandy Rose has been champion now for probably 3-4 months, maybe.
Yeah, decent time.
Yeah, which is, kind of getting around the time where you start saying to yourself, okay.
And I feel like, she's done such a good job of kind of re-establishing her image that she'll be back on the main roster maybe by the end of the year.
Could be.
With the rest of Tuck.
Could be, yeah. Yeah, maybe that's all you need, right?
Kind of establish their group a little bit, and
Yeah.
We'll see.
You come down, you're fresh, and then and you come back up. Well, that was our episode of NXT here, folks. Let's move on to the very, very next night, where live in Chicago, some would say the home of AEW, we present to you an edition of All Elite Wrestling Dynamite.
AEW, All Elite, they coming for you, Vince. Better watch out. It's too sweet.
Where, despite many things that are happening on the card, we know what we're getting. We are finally getting CM Punk taking on MJF for that champion. For Pride and Pride alone. Before the show even started, though, Mike, I had reached out to you because that day, All Elite Wrestling mentioned that Jon Moxley will be taking on Brian Kendrick, former Cruiserweight champion. Tonight, and then as quickly as it was announced, all social media posts and everything were immediately pulled. I guess someone unearthed some previous damaging comments made by Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, some interviews. He said some things diminishing the Holocaust and other things like that, and just conspiracy theories, denying. I think he's talked about lizard people at one point. I
saw a video that pretty much, to me, gave me the feeling that he's just he's a flat earther. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a flat earther.
Yeah. People have said the same about AJ Styles, but I think at least AJ knows enough not to run his mouth off and Two stupid things.
Exactly. So, so immediately then Tony Khan was like, JK, he's not going to be with us anymore. So we're getting Moxley, Wheeler, Yuta, which I guess great move by Tony Khan, I guess. Very weird. I think it kind of has a double effect here. I kind of, it's like, oh, we kind of ouch Brian Kendrick as like, oh, this is what's going on with him. But then also a double-sided effect where it's like, oh, Vince held on to him for years. Almost like a weird kind of like, damn, he kind of got fucked both ways.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the world we live in. I imagine there's people currently in AEW that have clips that have yet to surface that could be pretty damaging as well.
Yeah, so who knows if we'll actually see that. And then one more note, just before we hit this week's episode of Dynamite. Last week, Sammy Guevara, Cody Rhodes came together at Beach Break. Sammy Guevara ended up winning one hell of a ladder match that kind of unified those two TNT championships, right? Or I guess they were, there was a placeholder and then the actual one. Sammy Guevara is now the kind of official, exclusive, only TNT champion. 5 stars. Meltzer gave it 5 stars.
Oh. Yeah, no, I thought it was a great match. We all know how I feel about Meltzer and his rating system. But
yeah, but at least it didn't go over 5. 5 is
no, it didn't
five
go
is
over 5.
The limit that you will give it, though. That was one hell of a match. Giving All Elite Wrestling 13 5 or more star matches. They only need 1 to tie that of WWE/WWF.
Yeah, which is pretty silly.
And we'll get there by Revolution, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
At least during Revolution. It'll happen.
But yeah, let's get this match we promised you. Jon Moxley taking on Wheeler Yuta, who had a lot of friends at ringside. Orange Cassidy and Danhausen was there at ringside with him. And, yeah, he was just doing his thing, pointing at Moxley, right? Causing distractions. Getting the crowd going.
The crowd was not cheering for Wheeler Yuta. They were cheering for Danhausen. I don't know if you got that. We got the "Let's go Moxley, Danhausen, let's go." So whenever this guy pops, I can see Danhausen getting his first match, maybe on a Rampage or something like that. But whenever it happens, he's going to have a Hook level response. Rookie of the Year. It could be a 2-man competition between Hook and Danhausen.
Yeah, looking forward.
Yeah,
to seeing
could be getting
him,
there.
His first match. But yeah, back in the ring or on the apron, Moxley hits his old finisher, the headlock driver, which he originally used as Dean Ambrose. And, a bit later, he uses his current finisher, the paradigm shift, to get the easy win there. Afterwards, Bryan Danielson gets in the ring. He's got a microphone, and he asks the crowd if they want to see them fight. And they all chant yes. Bryan says, "For a long time, I wanted to see that too. But since you've come back, we've seen a new Jon Moxley. Everybody, give it up!" And then the crowd cheers. And Bryan says, "I saw you from where I was before, watching you as AEW World Champion. And you were the best AEW champion we've ever had. And if you had a little support, I think you would still be the world champion. So I realized that Moxley and Bryan, we shouldn't be fighting. We should be fighting together." And then Bryan pulls out little tiny heel jabs saying there's no reason a millennial cowboy could be a world champion. No reason somebody dressed as a dinosaur should be a tag champion. Somebody whose main contribution to society is a vlog should be a TNT champ. So anyways, listen, Moxley, together, you and me, we can run this place. We can take any title we want. What if we take guys like Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, away from their joke teams, and we mentor them? And at this point, the crowd's cheering. They like this idea.
Crowd's like, yeah. At one point, Brian Danielson even says, like, they might not like me, but they like what I'm saying. And I was like, I do like what you're saying here.
That's it. I know. I think this. And then Moxley, he's like, he's considered. It's very.
Moxley did something during this promo, which you never see in WWE, where they look at the camera and
he did it multiple times
and look at you like, what do you think? As if like the camera's a real fucking person that's there. It's not a fourth wall break because we know you're on camera. He's looking at us, raising his eyebrows, like, man, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very unexpected and intriguing offer. So Brian says, all right, you don't have to answer now. Just think about it. This greatness we can create. Think about it. So, hey, I like this.
I do like this, too, because, I mean, we see the likes of... we do see a lot of these team-ups kind of things here on in All Elite Wrestling. Right, we see, like the best friends are somehow adding people every single fucking week. For all we know, who knows how many people are in the Hardy family office? But that's exactly it. We don't. Out of all these people who have come over, it's more like we see all the non-WWE people teaming together. Right, where we don't see, I mean, of course, Jericho has the Inner Circle. I had just mentioned the Hardy family office, but. I mean, FTR, Shawn Spears, they're not the leaders of their faction. We do see the likes of, I don't know, help me out on someone else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, this is like...
Even the way that Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, they're just sort of they kind of molded themselves into the Elite. This could be fantastic booking if things go the right way.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this, and I hope Moxley takes him up on that offer because, that could be a two-man power trip like we haven't seen in years and years and years.
Yes, very much so. Hopefully we see some good things coming soon.
Yeah. After that, Brandy Rhodes comes out, and she says, it's so nice to be back in Cleveland. But we're in Chicago, so the crowd boo. They were already booing her, but that just draws more heat. And, I mean, that's got to be on purpose. But she's like, whatever, same thing, snow, ice. And then Dan Lambert interrupts her, and he's starting to get pops now. He's getting people cheering for him.
Dan Lambert's getting pops, baby.
That's just a credit.
There's your heel turn. There's your best turn shooty right there. Fucking Dan Lambert.
It's already, he's already in contention. He comes out, calls Brandy out on her bullshit, and he says, you have a reality show, but honey, you need a reality check. You can pretend that Cody... You pretend Cody earned his spot. You can pretend that chief brand officer is a real title, not just something they made up to stroke your massive ego. You can pretend that Brandy from the block accent you try to use isn't as fake as those bolt-ons popping out of your t-shirt right now. So he's just laying it on thick, and... Lambert says you can pretend that you're not getting booed out of this ring, even though you're standing next to a rich, angry, conservative, sexist, AEW hating old man like me. So he's just obliterating Brandy right now, and the crowd's got his back.
Yeah.
Ethan Page is laughing, and Brandy's like, "Why are you laughing? We only hired you to get Josh Alexander," which I didn't quite understand.
They didn't get Josh Alexander in the first place, so I guess that's where that goes. Felt two Canadians, though. Ethan Page, Josh Alexander.
Brandy doesn't understand, though, why Lambert's got all this beef with her. And she's trying to talk, but the crowd just chants, shut the fuck up, which causes Brandy, she takes a pause. And she's like, are you done? And she tries to continue, but they're not done.
Never take a pause, folks. We know you kids are out there. You want to be professional wrestlers. Never pause. Take from Dan Lambert's book, and when you're getting a chorus of boos raining on you like none other before, just keep going. Just keep swimming. What movie? Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming.
Yeah, so Brandy's getting eaten alive here, and she says, Dan, your best fighter got knocked out by Jake Paul and Amanda Nunes? Which, I don't get the Amanda Nunes part either.
Amanda Nunes is also a member of America's Top Team on the legit fighter side, and she lost her UFC Women's Championship also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Dan says, don't you think it's time your whole family goes heel? Because the only face turn anyone is going to buy is the one from your video job, which is being turned face down, or your old job being turned face down. Which... what does that mean?
I didn't get that. I didn't get that one either. No.
There's a lot of inside baseball references going on here.
Inside baseball.
Crowd was loving it though. Brandy ends up slapping Lambert in the face, which causes Paige Van Zant to come out and square off with Brandy. The locker room spills out to break it up. Yeah. I mean, yeah, some references that didn't get, but I thought it was a fun promo. It's just fun seeing people behind Lambert and how he just destroyed Brandy, and the crowd's eating it up.
Yeah, all in all, this was a totally fine kind of promo. It was really funny how quickly the crowd took sides between Dan Lambert and Brandy. It was very cool. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, fuck her. We're totally on this guy's side.
They need to, keep this going. Brandy can be your number one heel if she's drawing this kind of
and the return of Paige Van Zandt, who we had been saying for, during her kind of build up there for weeks with the Inner Circle, that she's doing great. We want to see more of her. We want her to be kind of even possibly like a permanent fixture, a part of Top Team and the rest of the women's division. So it was great to see her back.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it will lead to her fighting Brandy, but we know Brandy's kind of limited in the ring, so who knows? Who knows what will happen? Mm-hmm. Maybe a mixed tag match.
Yeah, something like that.
Cody. But then we get a tag match after this. The Kings of the Black Throne. I mean, the graphics said Knights of the Black Throne, but then they announced them as King of the Black Throne, I think.
Yeah, and I understand them as Kings of the Black Throne. That is their they are currently the PWG tag team champions, and that's how they are branded there. But who knows? Maybe Knights. We're going for another little rebrand. Not sure.
I think it's. I mean, Justin Roberts said Kings, so I'll go with that. I'll say the graphic guy made an error.
Fuck you, graphic guy.
So Malachi Black, Brody King taking on Penta and Pac, who comes out. He's still got the bandages over his eyes. So I don't know. He's blind. But he starts the match, and Black takes a swing, but Pac, he's still able to duck it. Even with the blindfold on, he's wrestling perfectly. And then soon he lowers the bandage to reveal that his eyes are in fact fine. And we just go on to get a fun little tag match, and things are going well until eventually Black sprays the mist into Penta's eyes, which allows him and King to hit Dante's Inferno to get the win.
In a very good match, of course, without Rey Fenix doing over there. The Knights, the Kings, whoever or whatever.
Vegas versus LA.
Yeah, whatever we want to call them.
Yeah.
They're present. Yeah, just nice to see Pac doing stuff,
Yep. And, we're still looking for this House of Black to expand as well.
Yes. No word from Julia Hart. We didn't see Julia Hart at all in any backstages or anything this week, so.
No. But we did. We didn't.
She's still my pick. She's still my pick of the next kind of addition to the stable.
Yeah, we didn't mention it, but she did face Jade Cargill for the TBS title on Rampage.
Yeah.
Before the Rumble.
Yeah. But
and lost, of course. But, yeah. So, anyways, Nyla Rose up next takes on Ruby Soho. And you had the singer from Rancid. I think it was a singer, right?
Yeah.
One of the
Lars.
members of the band of Rancid, Lars, yeah. He's in the crowd, so Ruby goes over and hugs him. And, the match itself was okay. Ruby hits a nice TKO onto the apron there. And back in the ring, she hits the No Future, makes the cover. But Vicky Guerrero at ringside puts Nyla's foot on the rope. So she saves her. And Nyla climbs up the top rope, and then Ruby comes running in for another No Future kick, but she just simply misses. It was like Charlie Brown in the football. She just
and commentary played it off, she missed. But yeah.
You never see someone. It was like she slipped on a banana peel.
Yeah, it was almost because it's not a particularly complicated maneuver, I don't think.
No, you just jump, kick. So it was weird. So she falls. Nyla's like, okay, jumps off the top ropes, hits a big swanton, and then the Beast Bomb, get the win. So yeah, it was weird.
But a big win for Nyla Rose, though, I think.
I mean, they're always kind of
no word from either Jade Cargill or Britt Baker on this show. But, Revolution, we're kind of marching our way to Revolution. I believe it's the beginning of March 8th, I want to say. So both those belts will probably have to be defended there.
Yeah, I feel like we're still going to get Baker versus Thunder Rosa part 2 at that event.
Yeah.
But yeah, TBS title's kind of wide open.
Yeah, maybe that could be a multi-person. We haven't seen many multi-women matches when it comes to these title opportunities. Well, we haven't. I don't think we ever seen a triple threat for the women's championship.
I think we've barely seen any multi-man matches, period, when it comes to title
Yeah,
matches.
I mean, I think we had Kenny, Pac, and Orange Cassidy, and that one
Yeah,
fucking
I think that-
slapped. What are they so
Yeah.
afraid of?
I don't know. I think they're just traditional, I guess, at this point for now.
Yeah.
But we'll get them. There's a quick little backstage. The feud continues between the Gun Club as they beat up Jungle Boy and take him outside, throw him in a pile of snow in his bare underwear, or his Jungle Boy outfit.
His Jungle Boy outfit, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Gun Club, I still don't care that much about him. This feud is not that much.
Yeah, nothing too much. I think it kind of as a part of that larger just a lot of people going on, right?
Yeah. Then we get Tony Schiavone in the ring to interview Hangman Adam Page. Talk about his upcoming. Well, he's defending the title next week against Lance Archer in a Texas death match. So, yeah, Page just cuts a promo, said, yeah, he's ready to fight. Dan Lambert and Jake the Snake come out to respond. And, yeah, Lambert's kind of associated with them now. I don't know. But,
Yeah, he came out the other week, I think, with them.
yeah, so he's not quite a part of Top Team, but he's kind of with Lambert. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Lance Archer comes out after and just says, "Let's do this." And they brawl, and Archer nails Page with a chair, choke slams him onto the side of the steel steps, and then hits a blackout through the timekeeper's table, which that thing's starting to get broken every week now. It's like the
Every
barricade.
single week, and that's a dangerous move. That blackout. I mean, I'm sure not actually dangerous, but that's that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great move.
It looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see some violence next week in Texas.
Texas Deathmatch, though, that is kind of the Lance Archer signature match. I believe that's how he won the IWGP United States Championship off of Jon Moxley. Was in a Texas death match, because I do recall a promo where Lance Archer said Texas death match, and Jon Moxley said, "What the hell is that?" So who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. But let's get to this main event we've been promised. They've been feuding for quite a while now. Some great promo work here, but we're ready to settle it in the ring. We got MJF taking on CM Punk live here in his hometown of Chicago. So, of course, he gets the hero's welcome and a ton of time for this match. For those of you watching live, it was about 9:20 when they were coming out, so almost 40 minutes left in the show.
Yeah, and it was, and of course, Justin Roberts let us know the match schedule for one fall or TV time remaining.
Yeah. But then during the match, we're like, we're going to stay with this if it goes past time. So who knows?
So I was like, okay, give me that, baby.
But anyways, tons of time, and it well deserved. The crowd was just super hot for everything. And yeah, there was a fun little spot early on where MJF tries to sneak out through the ropes. Punk punches him, and he falls back, bounces back up, punches him again over and over. Like those little inflatable punching bags we had as kids.
Yep, yeah.
They fight their way out into the crowd. Punk picks up MJF, drops him crotch first onto a railing. And then they fight their way back to the ring, and MJF starts targeting Punk's arm, trying to wear it down for that salt of the earth. And Punk slams MJF on the edge of the ring, and then he grabs him and lets a fan chop him in the chest. I mean, do you think it was a real fan, or do you think it was a friend of his or something?
It might have been a plant because but it was a good chop right across there.
It was a decent chop.
I'd love to chop MJF.
That'd be great. And then back in the ring, MJF pulls Bryce Remsburg in between him and Punk. And during this brief scuffle, MJF rips off a piece of tape and uses it to choke Punk. And he's got him in a deep sleeper hold, so he's hiding the tape. The illegal leverage here. The ref can't see it. Punk falls down to the mat. So the referee goes to check, lifts his hand, drops it once, drops it twice. And then on the third time, we all expect the hand to stay up, but the hand drops. The bell rings. MJF has won by submission, and this crowd is stunned. They can't believe it.
As I was at home, this was scheduled for TV time remaining. What are we going to do with the last 20 minutes?
What are we going to do? Well, Bryce Remsburg, he goes to raise MJF's hand, which causes the piece of tape to drop out. He was trying to hide it, but Bryce picks it up, says, "What the fuck is this?" So he goes over to the ring announcer, lets us all know that this match will continue. So MJF is pissed. He yells. He shoves the ref. The ref shoves him back right into a roll-up from Punk. But Max kicks out of that. And then he rips off some more tape and just uses it blatantly in front of the ref this time, choking again. But he breaks before the 5 count, so it's okay. And, then just some more back and forth wrestling, nice submission work. Punk pulls out a reverse Hurricane Rana. And both men, Punk landed on his head just as bad as MJF on that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. CM Punk was folded over.
Yeah, big reverse Rana there. And MJF still cheating whenever he can. He kicks Punk in the balls behind Bryce's back. Makes the pin with the foot on the ropes, but Punk still kicks out. So MJF has now decided to work over Punk's leg. So just tearing away at that. They fight their way up to the top rope when Punk pulls out a move we haven't seen in over 17 years, the Pepsi Plunge, which is pretty much a pedigree off the top
I was going to
rope,
say, it was a pedigree. Okay, good. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
But still, big holy shit moment from the crowd. They're going nuts. He never did that move once in WWE.
Oh, really? Yeah.
For
Well,
obvious
yeah.
reasons.
Well, Well, JR made that observation. Oh, I haven't seen that maneuver in 17 years.
Yeah, I think Triple H would probably be like, no one does a pedigree. But
Well, exactly. It's like
Seth
it's why we
Rollins.
don't see cutters in on the main roster, right?
Yeah, so crowd's going nuts, but the move hurts Punk's knees so much. MJF's already been working it over, so it doesn't have time to make the cover. So they fight on. Punk's looking to hit the GTS, but his knee gives out. MJF rolls to the floor, and this is when Wardlow comes out, and he just gets right in CM Punk's face, stares him down, and steps aside. The way they filmed this was great because you don't see anything at first. You just see the stare down, and Punk throws MJF back in the ring. Wardlow steps on the apron. So that distracts Punk for a second, which allows Maxwell to put on the diamond ring, punches Punk in the face with it, makes the cover, and he gets the 3. So CM Punk's first loss in AEW
Wow.
for the second time.
Almost like a double loss. Yeah, for him there too.
Yeah.
Of course, after the
huge win
Yeah.
for MJF.
big deal.
And I loved on the replay when they showed when Wardlow was in Punk's face. He had the ring behind his back and handed it right to MJF, which you didn't see on the first go around. So nice little sneaky way. And yeah, awesome match. I mean, with the little restart in between, it still almost went like 40 minutes or so. Yeah. One of the match of the year candidates so far for me.
Yeah, one of the longer television matches you will see out there, and AEW has been great so far. This is the second or third even long match that the fans still want, and it's kind of it goes up, it goes down, it flows, and it's great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was awesome. This was everything we wanted it to be. I mean, the right guy won. MJF's the young guy. He had to cheat to win, but he still got the job done.
And really
CM
beating CM Punk in Chicago gives MJF this carte blanche to just brag to every single promo. I beat CM Punk in his hometown. Possibly also sets up a rematch for Revolution, which is also possible, right? Because
well, I mean, I feel like MJF might be facing the Hangman at Revolution.
There's a chance with that too, right? I mean, he's been the top of AEW. He's been one of the top heels on the planet since his coming into All Elite Wrestling, or at least whenever he turned on Cody, whenever that was. That's how long he's been on top of the game. So I think he needs to be rewarded at some point.
Yeah, I think he will be. I think he'll be the guy to beat Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, that'd be great to see.
Yeah, great stuff. I liked how they, normally when a match gets restarted, you think, okay, he's not going to win again twice, but, he did. So
he won twice.
Swerve expectations. Yeah, so that was cool.
And that was it. That was the entirety of Dynamite. A long episode for us here, covering the Rumble, of course. Let's end the show the way that we always do, which is by giving you a Wrestler of the Week.
With the Wrestler of the Week, the Wrestler of the Week, of the Week, of the Week, the Wrestler of the Week, of the Week, of the Week, the Wrestler of the Week, of the Week, of the Week, the Wrestler of the Week.
You got anything for us here this week, Mike? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'll just finish off with the man we were just talking about, MJF. Huge win, great match. I mean, he's one of the best in the planet at what he does, and still so much more for him to accomplish.
Yeah, he hasn't even begun to peak of what he'll do in All Elite Wrestling. I'm going back to the Rumble for my Wrestler of the Week, and I got a pick from my favorite match from that entire pay-per-view. It was actually the match that opened up the show. Roman Reigns taking on Seth Rollins. However, I can only choose one winner, and by choosing a winner, I'll actually be choosing the loser, Seth Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins, I should say.
Well, he won by DQ. He won.
You're right. That's a good point. He did win. He may have walked away with a few more bruises. But he did win the match in the record books, coming down with that Shield entrance, telling the story, this, kind of de facto babyface. The crowd was behind him. I thought it was one hell of a match, too, despite, the risky ending, but kind of keeps both people safe in that same kind of way. Seth freaking Rollins, you're the Wrestler of the Week.
Yeah, no, he was my runner-up there, so, great week for him. Yeah, even with the finish, doesn't change who he is as a performer. And yeah, they left something on the table, that Roman Reigns, Seth. I mean, they're always going to be able to go back to that match, but I mean, Seth's got unfinished business. Yeah,
Seth Roman is like the Sasha Bailey of the men's roster. We can just keep going back to that well. And that was all the time we have for the show this week, folks. Thanks for listening. Rate, like, subscribe. The show is everywhere. We'll be back next week with the big 170. That'll be our, we'll kind of prep ourselves towards Vengeance Day. Of course, Saudi is like in like 2 weeks or something. Like, we really don't have much time before we're going back to Saudi, and then Revolution follows. It's a real exciting time of the year.
That's right. And the Winter Olympics.
Don't forget the Winter Olympics, folks.
I mean, there could be future wrestling, even though there's no wrestling. It could be future. WWE has hired Olympians before.
Exactly. Pay attention to the bobsled team. I feel like they could be most likely to show up in a WWE ring at one point. I hear
Jamaica's back. Jamaica's back in the bobsled.
Jamaica's back. John Candy's been coaching the hell out of these boys.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great week. Mike, you take care of yourself.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.